Hi, it's great to be performing so close to Cape Sinclair. I'd like to dedicate this entire set to the Grawls shopping market. I've got 2 Grawls tote bags back home in England. You know, when I was a boy, there were... Is this stable? When I was a boy, there weren't any live music venues in Annapolis. There was just people used to throw each other in the water when they got tired. And I never came here either, but I found out about it afterwards. And so it's great to be actually doing a gig and this close to Cape Sinclair. This, as you probably know, that I think they're trying to stop. I think the United States is trying to put an embargo on unpasteurized cheese flooding into the United States, or flooding into new territories belonging to the United States, i.e. the rest of the universe, the rim of space, and all parts of the moon and other unmanned planets which may or may not belong to the United States or her affiliates. Which is okay, but I think it's bad about the cheese. I think cheese needs no passport, you know, it can come and go. You don't find people sort of frog marching cheeses out of customs and saying, that's enough, Mr. Cheese, in you go. What's your name? Greer, right. Is that Mrs. Greer then, or are you unmarried, you know? It's very, I don't think cheese should be harassed. But you can be harassed by cheese, and that's the topic of this particular song. Hang on a sec. Rockford and Gruyere and Slippery Brie, all of these cheeses, they happen to me. Oh please, Rough Pecorino and Moody Ram Hall, stop me before I just swallow it all. Oh please, somebody ring the cheese alarm. Oh please, somebody ring the cheese alarm. Goat's cheese cylinder, tangy and white, roll over me in the flickering night. Oh please, Showman Jarlsberg, Applewood smoked, the pleasure is mine, he obligingly joked. Oh please, somebody ring the cheese alarm. Oh please, somebody ring the cheese alarm. Hey now Fletcher, don't keep me up late, I can't even fit into size 38. Oh please, Juddering Stilton with your blue-blooded veins, you can't build a palace without any trains. Oh please, oh please, oh please. Starving and half the world bloats, half the world sits on the other and gloats. Oh please, truckle of cheddar with a muslin rind, would you give it all up for some real peace of mind? Oh no. Thanks. Did you see the way it did that? It just was in one position and then another. That's pretty good, actually, because usually what microphones do is they droop very slowly. They wait till they've got your attention, you know, if you're a performer. Then maybe they'll get a hair on them or something. So they make sure the hair has got into your mouth. So you're dealing with the hair, and then the microphone itself begins to droop, but quite slowly. So you're not sure to begin with, and then gradually you're doing that, and you're just bending down, and it's hard enough to have good posture anyway as a performer. This is an old song I learned from Joan Baez, or from one of her records. Don't sing love songs, you'll wake my mother, she's a sleeping here, right by my side, and in her right hand is a silver dagger. She said that I can't be your bride. All men are false, says my mother. They'll tell you wicked, evil lies the very next day. They'll find another, leave you alone to pine and sigh. My daddy is a handsome fellow, he's got a chain 5 miles long, and on every link a heart doth dangle of another maid. He's loved and gone. No, no, no. No, no, no. Go caught up, no. The tender maiden, and see if she will be your wife. I'm staying here, and I'm determined to sleep alone all of my life. No, no, no. No, no, no. Don't sing love song, you wake my mother, she's sleeping here, right by my side, and in her right hand is a silver dagger. She says that I can't be your bride. Thanks. Thanks. It's about a collection of spheres which are being boiled. They're actually being char-grilled inside one of those, what are they called? You know when you make popcorn? You can make popcorn in the United States by pouring this stuff into saucepan and heating it up. And then there's another thing called Jiffy Pop, which is slightly more unpleasant. They're like little landmines, but they're also full of things. That's what actually got Princess Diana in the end. And her car ran over a whole, thing of Jiffy Pop, and that's what actually caused. It wasn't the phantom Fiat on the grassy knoll or anything like that. She was assassinated by a Jiffy Pop cabal. They've suppressed that in Britain, but if you read the Middle Eastern newspapers, you can see it very clearly. And anyway, there's these, but beyond that, there's the third option, which is the marshmallow. And, you're meant to actually toast marshmallows in front of a gas fire, gas Mark IV. That's what Sherlock Holmes used to do. He used to come back home and pull off his boots. And also, because if he, because it's quite damp in Victorian England, if his legs were very damp, when he pulled his boots off, his feet came off as well. And Watson would come back in and say, "Oh, good grief, Holmes, where are your feet?" And Holmes would say, "Oh, for God's sake, Watson, don't be such an ass. They're just in my boots, can't you see?" "Great Scott, Holmes, but what will you do?" "Well, I shall sew them back on when they dry out, Watson. Now bring me some drugs." "But Holmes, I didn't marry you for that." "Oh God, Watson, you're such a sucker." So meantime, you'd have that problem with the boots and toasting, the feet. Anyway, that's why a lot of those early films of Sherlock Holmes with Basil Rathbone, if you see the uncut versions, you can see all the sutures around his ankles where his feet have been sewn back on again. All that Boris Karloff stuff, the Frankenstein, was basically just a way of training how they could do those stitches for movies. Anyway, what they used to do, the divine couple, was toast these marshmallows in front of fires and gas fires, Victorian gas fires. And every so often, they'd kind of expand and take control. And this is a song about a series of renegade marshmallows who take over central New York. I mean, that's what zero tolerance really means, Actually, I'll tune this as well. But not too much. There, now it's back how it was when I started tuning it. Walking up 6th Avenue and Balloon Man came right up to me. He was round and fat and spherical with the biggest grin I'd ever seen. He lumbered up toward me, but before we could be introduced, he blew up very suddenly. I guess his name was probably Bruce. So I laughed like I always do. Then I cried like I cried for you. And Balloon Man blew up in my hand. He spattered me with tomatoes, hummus, chickpeas and some strips of skin. So I made a right on 44th and I washed my hands when I got in. And it rained like a slow divorce, and I wished I had eaten your horse. And Balloon Man blew up in my hand. Here he comes. I was walking up 6th Avenue and Balloon Man blew up in my face. There were loads of them on Bryant Park, so I didn't feel out of place. There must have been a plague of them on the TV when I came home late. They were guzzling marshmallows and then jumping off the Empire State. So I laughed like I always do. Then I cried like I cried for you. And Balloon Man blew up in my hand. Yes, Balloon Man blew up in my hand. Thanks. One of the great things about human beings is that they have names. They give each other names, and they also give names to things that happened billions of years before they ever came along, and things that probably lasted a lot longer than we ever will. And one of the things that has a name that doesn't exist anymore is this. It looked like a lady's leg shaving device from the 1940s. You know, those sort of very segmented ones they used to have with kind of metal rivets that popped through. There were all these either rivets or staples. I don't know what the real word is, but anyway, this creature, it was called a trilobite, and its fossilized remains still exist on coastal regions in Britain and things. But it's rather as if your name was Ruth. But, 2 million years later, your bones are on show in the Smithsonian. And it says these bones belong to somebody called Sven. And somehow in your soul, or the soul of your bones, they're going, no, I was Ruth, I wasn't Sven. But there's nothing you can do about it because you are long gone. Your personality has been scattered to the synapses of the cosmos. You are beyond being even a thought. You have no power. You can't make your bones creak up and rap somebody on the head and go, not Sven, no, Ruth, please. Mom, did that skeleton say something? No. Come and look at this chewing gum. It's much nicer. Anyway, this is about that, really. And this creature, it was called a trilobite. Oh, yeah, also, it's a reference. I don't know if you know, but Elton John's real name was Reg Dwight. And the chorus of this involves Elton John, before he becomes famous, going into a sort of quite down-market British sort of eatery in the mid-'70s and eating a load of cream buns. Not that Elton did that, because he was already too busy conquering the States. But that's the chorus bit of the song. That's what it means. The chorus isn't anything to do with the verses, but you can tell it's the chorus because I stopped singing about the trilobite and I sing the bit about Dwight. But it's in the same key, so you don't have to get upset or anything like that. Trilobite, right, Dwight's in the light bite. Trilobite, right in the light bite, Dwight. Trilobite, right, Dwight's in the light bite. Trilobite, right in the light bite, Dwight. Basking on the shores of time, the little stone creature ain't dead to the world. They call him Trilobite, right, Dwight's in the light bite. Trilobite, right in the light bite, Dwight. Clicking away for a second of fame. A billion years later they give it a name. They call him Trilobite, right, Dwight's in the light bite. Trilobite, right in the light bite, Dwight. Trilobite, right, Dwight's in the light bite. Trilobite, right in the light bite, Dwight. When I'm too wasted these rocks to clamber, well, lean me on the cliff and encase me in amber, and a creature from the future in way out when can clock my fossil and name me Sven. That's a nice name. Boogie. Built for a world where nothing needs shaving. Look at them stone antennae waving. Trilobite, right, Dwight's in the light bite. Trilobite, right in the light bite, Dwight. Let's hold a clicking championship. The Trilobite wins and everybody else loses. Trilobite. Trilobite. Okay, let's just try to see what this fish sounds like in delay. Hang on. Can you try panning it as well? Okay, take two. This is the fish in delay, panned, in stereo. This is what our forefathers could not have heard. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and for that matter, Hermann Goering, both perished before this kind of stereo could have been developed. So count yourself lucky you're here now. Take two. Put a bit of delay on the guitar on this one. You can take it off the fish now. Watching Romeo dissolve, I was tempted to join him. By the mirror of the lake where the statues unfurl. I had never seen a man so abuse his reflection. As the light shines through your Chinese bones, watching Juliet implode, I would hasten to warn her. But around her feet I saw that her serpent was curved. And her eyeballs had rolled up, so her pupils had vanished. shines through your Chinese bones. Oh, the light shines through your Chinese bones. They opened Peter Sellers' heart and they told him a story. Just 'cause you are not yourself doesn't mean you can't die. He passed away in a hotel. They cremated him slowly. As the light shines through your Chinese bones. Oh, the light shines through your Chinese bones. The line between us is so thin, I might as well be you. And everywhere I've ever been, I know you're going to. As the light shines through your Chinese bones. Chinese bones. Thank you. This is about a year when that nobody really noticed at the time. And looking back on it, it seems even more insignificant now. But it was a key point because it was when the 60s ran out of momentum and when the 70s prepared to counterattack. And everyone was sort of wandering around in beards and dope and everything, and nothing appeared to matter. Over here, Vietnam was drawing to a close, and in Britain was drawing to a close. But nobody really minded, and I was just a young twit bouncing around with a beard and a guitar, and millions of other similar beings were doing the same thing. But I suspect that when you die and you evaluate your life, or you look at the whole thing, you'll spend most of your time thinking not about the really significant emotional moments, but the things like wondering how many cartons of milk you bought from Gruel's and whether you actually put them in the fridge that day on July the 13th, 1989, or whatever, you know. Whether you remember to return people's calls about babysitters and things like that. That's what's going to, or, you know, how many postage stamps you bought on a wet day in August in 1997. And, you know, it's like that. It doesn't even sound very interesting, does it? It's like, how much time do you ever spend thinking about polystyrene? Do you ever wake in the middle of the night and think, polystyrene, Christ, is it in chips or is it solid? Wow, I mean, how much polystyrene can I think of? And, you know, if you've got a partner, you look at your partner who's almost bound to be asleep unless they're racked by similar torturous thoughts. Of course, for all you know, your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, you know, maybe they've got something, they're thinking about whalebone corsets or something like that. The whalebone corset, did it appear in the late 19th century? Did Sherlock Holmes wear one? Sorry, there was a bad edit there. Did Sherlock Holmes wear one? Of course I didn't. That's Watson. Well, I know, but I wear them for both of us. I mean, I don't dress up, neither does Holmes. I don't dress up as him. We just don't dress up together. Oh, I wasn't thinking about you, fine. But, you know, you go back, so you pan the camera back to your own inner turmoil, and there's palaces polystyrene, great white moonlit surfaces, pyramids, like the Aztecs had the hundreds of steps you could walk up to the very top and look at the moon, but all made of polystyrene? Or do you just think of a jumble of polystyrene chips at the bottom of which there might be a can of root beer? You know? And you know, the moment of our deaths is all approaching us, and none of us have thought about any of this. So if you take one thing away with you tonight, apart from yourselves and each other, just take some of that with you. That's not really a command, or it's more kind of a request, you know. Why don't you go away and contemplate some rubbish? This is about a rubbish year. You have 2 coffees. One of them is 1 coffee too many for you. On a health kick, yeah, trying to lead a middle-aged life. Well, it's either that or drop dead. Wait till you get older than this, and then turn around and tell me I was young for my age. Yeah, and it feels like 1974, waiting for the waves to come and crash on the shore. But you're far inland. Ooh, you're in funky denim wonderland. You and David Crosby and a bloke with no hand. You've got hair in places most people haven't got brains. Ooh. And it feels like 1974. Sid Barrett's last session, he can't sing anymore. He's gonna have to be Roger now for the rest of his life. Ooh. Enough about me, let's talk about you. You were working at the Earth Exchange at 22:30. Rebel, Rebel was your favorite song on the Archway Road, where it all belonged. All those molecules of time that you thought you'd shed forever. All those inches of time that you thought you could just say bye-bye. And as Nixon left the White House, you could hear people say, they'll never rehabilitate that mother, no way. Yep, worry, worry, goes the helicopter out of my way. I got a president to dump in the void. Ooh. Python's last series and The Guardian said the stench of rotting minds. But what else could you smell back then? You didn't have to inhale too hard. You could smell the heads festering in the backyard. There's a baby in a basket, it's taking your name. And one day it'll grow up and say, who are you? Hey. And you say that's where it ended. But I said no, 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 it just faded away. August is grey. Oh, it feels like 1974. Ghastly mellow saxophones all over the floor. Feels like 1974. You could vote for Labour, but you can't anymore. Feels like 1974. digging Led Zeppelin on WHFS. Oh, Christ. Thanks. Okay, Brian, let's try the fish in reverb. Did you hear what he was saying? It sounds like reverb, doesn't it? Écoute une fois, autre, plusieurs. Un petit être extra froid, autre. Comme mon poisson ici qui s'appelle... he's a bit shy. I've always been really interested in real things. Oh, I see. Hang on. This is about somebody that nobody actually knows, but everybody knows someone that knows him. Next door came round one night to ask me for a drink. I said I didn't anymore. He said, Robyn, that's what you think. A tendril curled around his leg as he got up to leave. He said a friend of yours was here, but we all call him Steve. Clean Steve. They don't come any dirtier than me. Better watch out, all you space cats. Clean Steve is a mineral mine. My cousin Bruce came round to stay, the father of my boy. He reached into a cupboard and tore apart a stethoscope, although it was my pride and joy. There's tentacles between our worlds, he said, so I believe. I replied that the man next door was making videos with the man next door was making videos with Clean Steve. He said, you mean using Clean Steve as a form of optical recording device? I said, no, no, no. Working in collaboration with him, though a man with an ego the size of yours could barely be expected to grasp that concept. You could have knocked him down with a feather. Clean Steve lent me £1 in 1974. That was a lot of money then. I was extremely poor, but I saved up and we had a party 3 years later, and Clean Steve wore a robe. He brought along a new Nick Lowe cassette and he played it in the road. Clean Steve, Clean Steve, they don't come any earlier than me. Well, they didn't back then. Better watch out, all you space cats. Clean Steve is a mineral man. but he wasn't really home. Instead I spoke to his wife Claire, who was sitting on the styrofoam. Clean Steve was outside the house, shaving both his legs. We all had dinner with him once. He gave us scrambled eggs. There's some real people in this world, and some of us are fakes. Clean Steve is making videos by the side of the man next door's best friend Lake. He's good at playing frisbee, and his teeth are shining bright. I think he comes from Leatherhead, which is a small town off the orbital M25 which completely surrounds London, not unlike the way the Beltway completely surrounds DC, if all my facts are right. Clean Steve, Clean Steve, they don't come any dirtier than me. Better watch up, all you space cats. Clean Steve is a mineral man. It seems to do it between songs, though, doesn't it? Which is nice. This is a song about being menaced by solid objects. You know, if you're relaxing in bed and you wake up and you don't recognize the room you're in because there's no window and there's just a huge, very tall but a sort of uncomfortably narrow cupboard at the foot of your bed. And you went to bed in quite a nice, broad double bed with somebody else, but you wake up on your own in a very thin, suspiciously coffin-like single bed that seems to stretch down about 8 feet. You look down, you focus on what appears to be your feet. You try woggling your left foot. After about a minute, your right foot moves. You try to repeat the process with your right foot, but nothing happens at all. You cast your eyes to the window. The window isn't there, but it has a Venetian blind. Then you look around at the door. The door's nailed shut. There's only the cupboard. The cupboard really wants your attention. And once the cupboard's got your attention, it creaks open very, very slowly. And inside the cupboard is a severed horse's head, which has been severed from the body of the horse for about 10 days. And the lips are drawn back in a hideous kind of rictus snarl grin. And lots of rather fat, drowsy flies are kind of roosting on the bulging ivory teeth of the horse. You know, they can't be bothered to swarm. They're just wandering around. They look like, when you look at the constellation, you know, you don't see the stars move much. Well, this is like a constellation of flies, but they don't seem to be actually dead. You know, once you focus, you see one of them's waving at you. It's got a tiny little parasol, like a little cocktail parasol, very distant. So you pull out your opera glass and you look very closely, and it's a little Dr. Watson fly. It's got a little Dr. Watson embroidered on its umbrella, and it's waving at you. Then it gets coy and it stalks off behind a horrible tooth. And then when it's got your attention, one eye of the horse gets much bigger. It swells up. It seems to become twice the size of the other eye, and you think, God, what's that? And then it pops out, and there's hundreds of extra flies inside the head. And they're all in jello, natch, sort of green jello. And these are young flies, and they're very excited. They all want to sell you something, and they all come whizzing up. And then you hear this. I was followed home by a weighing machine onto Kiyoko Street. It said, what do you know? I said, what do you mean? Onto Kiyoko Street. And the numbers turned to fingers, and the fingers turned to flies, and they buzzed around your portrait. I was followed home by a 73 onto Kiyoko Street. It was advertising you and me onto Kiyoko Street. In the photograph we kissed. The conductor's name was Milo. As the bus went past he hissed, "Flash shot." A hyena sprang, she was on all fours onto Kiyoko Street. And the outline showed through a strip of gauze onto Kiyoko Street. If you meet me by the clock, I could kiss you through the window, 'cause you love that sudden shock. Don't moralize, get on with it. You can go now, you've discharged all your responsibilities. No, 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 now, 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 onto Kiyoko Street. Sundial fell, it was oh so black onto Kiyoko Street. And a lizard's tail slithered in the crack onto Kiyoko Street. And the pale yellow globes flicker softly in your window as you pace the night with strobes. It's the darkest dream in the whole wide world onto Kiyoko Street. It's a bat, it's a bat, it's a bat, it's a girl onto Kiyoko Street. In my pocket nightmare's dress, I said, Jasper, this one's evil, but I love my lioness. Lost Madonna of the wasps, I wonder where we cross. I wonder where she lost me. Lost Madonna of the wasps, she's dying in the frost. I wonder what she cost me. Is this love? Gone Madonna of the swans, she waves her magic wand, and then she settles on me. Wise Madonna of the flies, I look into her eyes. She doesn't recognize me. Is this love? Is this love? Madonna of the wasps, I wonder where we cross. I wonder where she lost me. Lost Madonna of the wasps, she's dying in the frost. I wonder what she cost me. Is this love? Is this love? Hey, thanks. Can I get some more coffee, please? If there's any, with a bit of sugar, but no milk. No cream. Nothing, but only the black coffee and the white sugar. It's like saying, I'll get the red bus under the blue sky, because otherwise you get the purple bus under the green sky. Like this afternoon, the sky was incredible. It's that I haven't seen anything like it since I was in Baltimore 5 years ago, and the Mile cloud came up, and a huge red-green sign was ripped off from the roadside and went spinning over my head, and there was a huge rainstorm, and 18 inches of rain fell in 30 seconds. And then next time I went back to Baltimore, it was just drizzling, so it looked quiet. And then today we had to get out. There was a lot of fog in New York, lots of bits of fog that had all been put together into one fog. Which, if the strips of fog had been left on their own, then it would have been easy to navigate, because you'd have sort of, there's a wisp of fog, and you'd have walked around it. But because it was all very dense, it had all been piled up. Like an old woman wearing headphones shoveling ball bearings up a hill. I mean, that would be unsuccessful. But reverse the position, and she's herding ball bearings down a hill. And there's a spring in her step suddenly, and she's got, thanks very much. She's enjoying the music she's listening to on the headphones, and which is actually Wagner. It's called The Death Ride of the Valkyries. It's about a German couple who go water skiing in the Alps. They're incredibly butch, and so the snow, wherever they go, what starts off as snow rapidly becomes slush and is then intimidated into just liquid. And they too are speeding downhill, and as their triumphs are recounted by Wagner, so the old lady with shovels the ball bearings down the hill. Well, that's what I call success. And there was a similar kind of success rate with the fog today. It was as if all these forces were compressing the fog, so we couldn't get out of New York at all, and we were actually dismantled molecule by molecule and shipped to a research center in Arlington. They've actually had transmat things for about 30 or 40 years now, but they're not publicly. They haven't released them yet officially, because they want to make sure everyone's bought a CD player first. Then they're going to bring in the transmat machine. You can assemble your grandmother in your living room, whether she's alive or not. And this is what happened to us. We were molecule by molecule reassembled at BWI. And just then there was this incredible, sick green sky. It was fantastic. It just looked like a hand was going to come out of it and take us away back to New York to the Transmat machine. Right. Which brings me somewhat neatly onto this next song. Just as a bee might land on an icing bun. Or iced bun, which is an anagram of dice nub. Which you might say if you had a cold and you were pleased because there was an interesting looking nub, you know. This concerns Sherlock Holmes's nephew, Edward Stonia Lutyens, and his fiancée, Sophia McGonagall, and a walk they took on the beach one afternoon in England around the time of when Sherlock and Watson were having their escapades with the marshmallows and the fragmented feet. And the only other thing I'd like to add to this is I don't think Kate Winslet is in any way overweight. Keep it up, Kate. You know, women are just encouraged to shave themselves down like pencils, you know. It's just... See? Okay. Anyway, this goes like this. Victorian Squid is a delight for all the family because it's greasy and hot. When you've had lots, then you'll want more. There's old H.G. Wells lying in bed with his new housekeeper with hot squid by their side, glowing with pride, flushed with exhaustion. Victorian tongues, Victorian skin, Victorian lungs, Victorian sin. Victorian parks, Victorian moans, Victorian darkness. Victorian squid down on the beach is an embarrassment to respectable girls walking with pearls and their fiancés. Oh, Edward, my love, is that a squid? Yes, I fear so, my pet, but pray leave it alone. Let us go home and take some cocoa. Victorian arms, Victorian legs, Victorian charms, Victorian eggs. Victorian boys, Victorian girls, Victorian darkness. Every night our voices meet in darkness. Fanlight falls on cobbled streets, the failing line of the city. Say hello to Mistress Kitty and pray that no one touches her between the walnut and the fir tree, where she keeps her real secret hid. She's a Victorian squid. Thanks. This wants some delay on the guitar, Brian, and probably reverb on the voice. Just imagine this next song sounds incredibly produced, you know. It's this posture thing, I can't get the hang of it. March firmly on stage. Treat the head as a balloon. Now, let go the string. Where is your head? Don't forget, The only difference between reality and realty is I. And further, don't forget that Santa is an anagram of Satan.
Got no money and I've got no advocate. Got no car and if I did it wouldn't start. Trade me in and you will find there's no spare parts. I've got nothing but time. In a bottle or a glass it's Avalon. After everybody, you're the one. He wasn't worth the paper he was printed on. I've got nothing but time. I've got nothing but time for you. I've got nothing but time. I've got nothing but time for you and me. I've got nothing but time. I remember when I had a lot of things. It was just another way of losing things. And as Wiggy says, you can't have everything. 'Cause where would you put it? I've got nothing but time for you. I've got nothing but time. I've got nothing but time for you and me. I've got nothing but time. When the wolf is hanging round, I remember what the wolf just gobbled down. It had feelings, but now it's just something brown. I've got nothing but time. I've got nothing but time. I've got nothing but time.
Why do so many young people enjoy music? Because it reminds them of their parents.
Said I'm a willow bending in your mind. I'm a mirror cracked from side to side. I'm a snow-covered mountain in an empty room. I'm a house that burns down every night for you. Said I'm a doorway leading to the dark. I'm a liquid you're dissolving in. I'm a policeman working in an empty house. I'm a distant steeple on a long abandoned place. Sometimes when I'm lonely, baby, then I'm only you. Said I'm a pattern on a china bowl. I'm a memory engraved upon your soul. I'm a prison cell without a door. I'm a finger drawing on a frosty window pane. Sometimes when I'm lonely, baby, then I'm only you. Sometimes when I'm lonely, baby, then I'm only you.
Thanks. Thanks. So I'll leave you with this. It's the most upbeat song I've ever written. It's about death from cancer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yip 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 yip. Yip 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 yip. This old man, he
he was flesh. They wheeled him in upon a trolley. Virulin, virulin, draw a window on his skin now. Virulin, virulin. This old man, he was next, blindfolded to face the volley. Virulin, virulin, love will come of all our sins. Paint that on my tail fin now. Virulin, virulin. This old man persevered. In his mind he lay with Molly. Virulin, virulin, cleanses with your healing grin. Septicemia always wins now. Virulin, virulin. Coma high, coma low. Blood is precious, yes or no? I believe in surgery. That's a fact. I believe in making it easy. I believe in surgery, but I never act. I believe in making it easy. Easy, 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 easy. Ah, yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. This old man, he was gone, and I was sorry. Virulin, virulin, down I spiral, down I spin. Forces, sweetheart, I'm your twin now. Virulin, yep, 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 yep. Yeah, I finished the first draft of it, and I've got to get it to the agent in New York. But I've nearly finished. I mean, I've finished the. Yeah, it should be out soon. It's going to be published. I've just been handed my set list by a member of the audience.
Oh yes, also on the that's it, on the plugging front, the film that Jonathan Demme made of me in concert at the end of the year before last is actually, I think, having its commercial premiere in New York this November, which means it's probably coming out quite soon. And I'm working on getting it in a cinema in West Virginia as well. I don't know if there's probably not a Groover's Cinema in is there a Groover's Cinema in Baltimore? Does that have like coffee and real, oat cakes and stuff? They show non-Hollywood stuff. My film's about as non-Hollywood as you can get. Okay. The Orpheum, is that another one? Okay. Well, I'll tell all my friends at MGM.
Executed, women bled, beaten fish change hands, and children stayed up late. Oh, colored drum set expressed the night. There was a taxidermist grinning with delight, but now he's gone. Ah, yeah. Only the stones remain. Girls were decked in flowers and ovulated while boys spat juice from out of their fresh young bulbs. Soldiers crossed their hearts and died, and pretty girls turned cold inside, but now they're gone. Ah, yeah. Only the stones remain, and the stones have forgotten them. The stones have forgotten them. Your body and drain the life out of it. It sinks into the soil while the soul flies up into the air above. And when there's no more tears to cry, there's nothing left to do but laugh. Stained glass elaborations collapse, and candy floss evaporates, honey. Only the stones remain. Ah, yeah. Only the stones remain.
I didn't write this one, but I know they used to play my version of it on HFS a lot. It's an old Psychedelic Furs song. The man in my shoes runs a light and all the papers lie tonight, but falling over you is the news of the day. Angels fall like rain, and la, 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 you can't give it away. Inside you the time moves and she goes on. The ghost in you, she don't fade. The race is on, I'm on your side, and hearing you my engines die. I'm in a mood for you, for running away. Stars come down in you, and la, la, la is all of heaven away. Inside you the time moves and she don't fade. The ghost in you, she don't fade. Inside you the time moves and she don't fade. Don't you go, it makes no sense when all your talk and Superman just take away the time and get in the way. Ain't it just like rain? And love, 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 you can't give it away. Inside you the time moves and she don't fade. The ghost in you, she don't fade. Inside you the time moves and she don't fade. The ghost in you, she don't fade. Thanks. This is one I've written for a film, which it's going to be sung by an Australian actor. So it probably won't sound much like this, but it's my song. In as much as anything's, my song or anyone, because all the chords were made up billions of years ago. I did make up one chord once, which was this. But it was so ugly I never used it again. And then I had this one before. And then many years later, Peter Buck had... But again, one doesn't tend to spend much time. You sort of find one of those. It's like when I was 4, I thought, I know, I'll invent the apple sandwich. No one seems to have apple sandwiches. Let's just cut an apple up, put it in some bread, and then it'll be an apple sandwich. So I told my mum I'd invented it. And she sort of looked she looked at my sister instead and said, "What did you say, dear?" And then not long after that, my sister was actually born as well. And I made the apple sandwich, but it wasn't very good. And that's why people tend to avoid innovations unless there's an enormous amount of money behind it.
You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby. Lord, I love your golden tongue. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby. Lord, I love your golden tongue. If I can't keep it when I'm older, I'm gonna have it when I'm young. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby. Your lips are like a butterfly. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby. Your lips are like the wings of a butterfly. Flutter by me, baby. I see your pattern and then I'll die. You got a sweet mouth on you, baby, but you would not kiss a frog. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby, but you would not kiss a frog. Let me be a demon, honey. Let me be your long black dog. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby, but you would not kiss a prince. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby, but you would not kiss a prince. I embraced you in my coffin, and I haven't seen you since. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby. I swing by just like a bee. You've got a sweet mouth on you, baby. I swing by just like a bee. You're so dark and full of honey when you stand in front of me. Thanks.
Sorry? Can't get that high at the moment. Sorry? Alien Chuck.
Alien Chuck was a friend of mine. He was together. Alien Chuck was a friend of mine in this kind of weather. Alien Chuck, where do you go when the nights go on forever? Alien Chuck, a good friend of the sea, a good friend of the daughter, and of me, and of me, Alien Chuck.
Thanks. Oh, yeah. Whoops. They said I should just play for quite a while. So, I mean, if you got any requests, then say, or if you want me to stop, I can go off and get. So I'm just doing this stuff. But anything that's not in the set list is there because I didn't want to play it. You know. My voice can't hit those high notes. Mike the Viking. Mike the Viking carefully, or you won't hear him at all. Mike the Viking carefully. He can bottom out just the same as you can, but you won't applaud because his sails are stiff and starched, and when he invades, the hairiness of him, the gingerness of him is far too brutal as he sweeps onto your shores. Oh, Mike the Viking, these are your claws, and this is my applause I give to you, but I'll keep some too. Oh, hang on, I know this is a real one I made up, actually. Los Angeles police, they come in different flavors, and history refuses to do you any favors. The insects point towards you with numbers on their collars. I'm dancing with a sandwich that cost $11. That's Nietzsche's way of telling you. That's Nietzsche's way of setting you down. You were in love with Caesar, but Caesar in a body bag. It could have been a grow bag if he'd been a tomato.
Nietzsche's way of telling you. That's Nietzsche's way of setting you down. I don't like that word absolute. You see that loathsome Superman, he flexes by your sundial. My physique was inadequate, so I became a dreamer. It's the privilege of youth and beauty to corrupt themselves. It's the privilege of youth and beauty to fade. If something doesn't kill you, it's gonna make you stronger. And as you didn't kill me, you must have made me stronger. It's the privilege of youth and beauty to destroy themselves. It's the privilege of youth and beauty to fade. Los Angeles police, they come in different flavors, and history refuses to do them many favors. That's Nietzsche's way of telling you. That's Nietzsche's way of setting you down. Nietzsche's way of telling you. That's Nietzsche's way of setting you down. Of setting you down. Of setting you down. Of letting you down.
I'm going to head off with this one. It's by the late Brian Ferry.
There was no way of knowing. Fallen leaves in the night, who can say where they're going? As free as the wind, hopefully learning while the sea on the tide has no way of turning. More than this, you know there's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this. Oh, there's nothing. It was fun for a while. There was no way of knowing. like the coal in the sky. Who can say if it's glowing? No care anymore. Maybe I'm learning while the sea on the tide has no way of turning. More than this, you know there's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this. Oh, there's nothing. More than this. Nothing more than this. Nothing more than this. Thank you. Thanks very much.
You wear lizard shoes, and afterwards you get confused. You wear the lizard's coat, and afterwards you fail to float. You take the lizard's path, but look who's lying in the bath. You wear the lizard's skin, no man can be a god and win at all. You wear the lizard's mask, but look who's lying in the cask. And when the clocks have stopped, you'll find out what the lizard dropped. You know the lizard's won, but you can't work out how it's done. The lizard is your friend and will be till the very end of time. The stars are out of reach. The lizard lingers on a beach. You vomit in the shed. The lizard got there first. He's dead. Good night.